up and turning on the TV to Cartoon Network as a kid was honestly the best, especially when one of your favorite shows came on, like Codename Kids Next Door. And at the time, without me knowing it, in my face was a reference to an anime, Dragon Ball Z. Totally unaware that this referenced an anime I would become obsessed with only a few years later. It even led me to discover other anime around 2011, 12ish, like this one anime I stumbled upon not knowing what I was getting myself into. Don't look it up. But back to Kids Next Door, that was a cartoon, so it makes sense animators would get inspiration from other animated things, being fans of animation. But like, what about film though? Specifically the medium of live action and actual human flesh. Remember 2022? So many good things came out that year. Chainsaw Man, Batman, or The Batman really, and the movie Nope by Jordan Peele. I remember being glued to the screen, 100% invested on everything that was going on, and then, like out of nowhere, and I thought to myself, that's pretty cool, not gonna lie. The Akira slide is a famous scene from the anime movie Akira, where a probably shouldn't be attempted motorcycle slide is performed. Like Frankenstein, this scene was brought to life in Nope, but anime has influenced film beyond just references to admittedly really cool scenes. The rabbit hole goes further. Scott Pilgrim versus the world. Actually, side note, I've attempted to make this video at least 4 times, and I just want to be done with this. So hopefully 5th time's the charm? Maybe, I don't know. Honestly, I'm led to believe this video is cursed, and it will never be finished. But rant over, back to what I was saying. Scott Pilgrim versus the world. Originally a comic that got adapted into a movie, and was heavily influenced by anime. I mean, it even got its own anime. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the live action adaptation, and what it learned from anime to create a really cool style all its own. I like to call Anafilm, short for movies that take inspiration from anime stuff, I guess. The movie's about this guy named Scott, who's interested in this girl named Ramona. You see, in order to get with her, he has to fight her evil exes. And just from that short summary, you can see how an idea like that can lend itself towards anime. But let's get deeper. The director of the movie, Edgar Wright, instructed the actors to not blink. And the reason? To make it feel more like anime. Because in anime, they don't blink as often as they do in the real world. I mean, of course, that would just be unnecessary extra work on the animators. But he wanted to mimic that, capture the anime aesthetic, and bring that look into his movie. In that way, and in others. The cinematography and character put into the fight scenes and choreography also help lean the film into that anime style. And by character, I'm talking about the extreme exaggeration put into the fight scenes that make it feel as though it was animated. All that complete with the classic anime reaction shots. Switching away from Scott Pilgrim and moving on to The Matrix. Among the best existential action-packed sci-fi movies you'll see, we're gonna take a look into one of its inspirations that you can describe with those very same words. The influential 90s anime, Ghost in the Shell.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch.
Now at this point you're probably wondering, what does Ghost in the Shell have anything to do with The Matrix? Well, let me explain. As the story goes, the Wachowskis, the creators of The Matrix, went to the Hollywood producer, Joel Silver, with a copy of Ghost in the Shell and simply said, we want to make this for real, and so they did. Also, another side note, just like Scott Pilgrim, they also have their own anime, The Animatrix, an animated anthology. Maybe I'll make a video on that, but if you want to see a video I did do on an animated anthology, go check out my last video on Love, Death, Robots after this video, of course.
I was a fan of anime. When Akira came out, I saw it. I thought it was fantastic. The Wachowski brothers showed me Ghost in the Shell. They showed me what they wanted to do with that type of action and photography and try to make it with real people, with real actors, and create a hybrid.
That was Joel Silver. I felt the need to clarify that because it did say it in the video, but this is the best quality I had of the video. 240p, that's the good stuff right there. But back onto my actual point, the main thing I wanted to get out of that is how he talked about anime and how the Wachowskis opened his mind to the possibility of merging both anime and film, ditching realism and embracing the over-the-top nature that animation lends itself to. Sure, grounded realism is cool once in a while, but film is a chance for experimentation, and that's why I love to see when people learn and take ideas from other mediums, such as animation. Like in the game Guilty Gear Strive. And stay with me, trust me, it's all gonna tie back together. Know the smell of the game. Guilty Gear Strive is a really popular fighting game made by Arc System Works. They created a unique style for themselves as well, using techniques of 2D animation and merging it with 3D animation. We're talking cell shading, smear frames, frame by frame tweaking of the 3D models to give it that 2D look, among other things. And I could go into more detail explaining those terms and all the other things they use to give it this look, but you see, that's not the focus of this video. The main takeaway is them pulling new ideas from outside of their medium of 3D animation, like Edgar Wright and the Wachowskis embraced anime to make something of a whole new breed. Speaking of breed, One Piece. I don't know how that ties in at all, but I couldn't think of a good segue. So like I was saying, One Piece wasn't the first good anime adaptation, and for me at least, the best anime adaptation. Well, more so of a manga adaptation, but there was an anime so it still counts. Alita Battle Angel.
Here I come from the west side. The left side.
As anime and manga has become more and more popular in the past few years, we're starting to see more people trying to bring it to the real world. And well, they don't end up doing that. They ignore their influences. And some just choose to do their own thing entirely, if I'm being honest. So what exactly did this movie do differently? I feel like we can't really talk about the influences of anime on film without talking about their adaptations. And instead of focusing on the failures, I wanted to talk about one I thought did a pretty good job and figure out why. Often when trying to bring anime to the real world, you lose what makes it special to begin with. Though like in my previous examples, that doesn't need to be the case necessarily. Within the scale of the world being so much bigger than life, it captured the same look as the anime. And apparently you can watch the full thing on YouTube. Just there to watch. Not saying that I watched it there, I totally watched it legally.
That's impressive.
What is?
Oh, come on. I'm talking about Zalem, of course.
Oh.
Alita Battle Angel is about this cyborg whose body was left to rot in trash. But luckily a cyborg doctor was there to help her out, though unfortunately her memories of her past all gone. So she has to rediscover herself in this cyberpunk future. But now that short summary is out of the way, let's get into how it chose to adapt the manga and how it brought the anime-esque vibe to live action in its own way. When going for this look, especially within the fight scenes, it's okay to ditch the laws of gravity, really take the time to sell certain moments in time, and like I said before, create something bigger than life. I want to feel the weight of the strikes, the punches, the velocity as characters move, doing the exact opposite of what they did to one of my favorite cartoons, Avatar: The Last Airbender, when they decided to adapt it into a movie, literally draining all the energy, all the momentum out of each scene. And like I said, Avatar's a cartoon, but it was pretty obviously inspired by anime, so it carries a lot of the same energy that anime does. So translating it like this just wasn't it. But something I just wanted to mention about the film just because I found it interesting. The eyes. If you couldn't tell, Alita is CG, based off a real person, but CG nonetheless. They made the decision to make the eyes bigger, to match the anime manga feel, being shown off in the first trailer. Though a lot of people gave them criticism for this, saying they were too big, too far into the uncanny valley. And instead of listening to what everyone said about shrinking them, they were like, nah, we're gonna do our own thing. It made them even bigger. But nah, actually, they did keep the size, but they did make a few adjustments within the iris and other areas for the final movie. Though they did jokingly mention the possibility of them making it bigger, and I can't imagine what that would look like, so I made it myself. And to end it off with something I find genuinely inspiring, so many indie filmmakers, creators are starting to bring this style into their own works, along with the amount of people who grew up watching anime begin their break into the film industry, like the action designer Chris Cohen, though technically he's not new to the industry, working on films like The Kingsman, the Best Spy movie, Star Wars, Wonder Woman, and more. And going back to indie filmmakers, he has his own YouTube channel where he shows off his own work, many inspired by anime, and these videos are pumped with the same feeling and energy that I've been talking about throughout this video. Man even talks about his influences.
Action design that's used in anime has like changed me completely. What I draw from is how they do moments. You go choreo, bop, 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 to go into like something like this.
And in conclusion, learning from more than one source and taking influence from other medium allows for some great things. And man, this video took too long to make. But if you don't want to miss when I do eventually upload on this channel, make sure to click that bell notification and subscribe for future videos. And check out my second channel because I will be uploading there more frequently while I work on videos that take more time on this channel. Link down below. But until next time, dear viewer, peace out.